good FA Cup final. And Hatchin! What a magnificent goal!
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue, IMO, in my opinion, with me, Stuart. Hope everybody's well. Just remember where you can find us. We are on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. If you like what we do on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. If you listen to us on podcasts, please go and rate us 5 stars. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts from. We're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar, and we're also partnered with the Tavern, is where I am now. Hope everybody's well. And we're also sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. His logo is in the corner. Lost sound. I'm back. Thank you, Stephen. I'm back. Hope everybody's well. I hope you can hear me now. I'll try and not to do that. Can you hear me now, guys? Am I back? Let me know. I am here. I'm back. Thank you very much. Any questions that you want to say? Anything that you've got to say about Coventry? How are you feeling about the Bristol win? How are you feeling about the season now? How are you feeling about the Oxford game? Would you make any changes to it as well, to the lineup? Do we know what the... do we know, is it the new kit that's coming out? Is everybody thinking? We are quiet tonight. I've got a few watchers, but no one's saying anything. Where is everyone? Glenn on Facebook. Thank you, Glenn. Palmer starts, yes or no? For me, I'm probably going to say no. I don't think he starts. I don't think Palmer starts. It's warm in here now. I've gone ever so warm all of a sudden. Did anybody listen to CWR? Mark and myself were on there talking to, oh God, I can't remember his name now. Curtin, I think it was. Not Curtin. Stephen McGovern, thank you very much, Steve. We'll get over 30k attendance. First game of the season, I think it's going to be packed. It is definitely going to be packed. Whether it gets to 30 or not, I'm not sure. It's going to be close. I reckon it's going to be about 28, 29. Excuse me. Palmer has 3 assists in the last 4 games. Yeah. I know his assists is quite good at the minute, to be fair, because he had one against, I think it was Werder Bremen as well for Rudoni. But I just think that at the minute, Rudoni, Torp, and hopefully Eccles will be there really, rather than Palmer, unless Palmer starts on the left. But again, we've got Hadji Wright, We've got Mason Clark, and we've got Asante that can play in that position as well. Sky Blue Sam, thank you very much, Sky Blue Sam. Good to hear you on CWR. Does Latty start? I would like to think so. I like Latty. I know he's got his critics, and I know he's not always the best, but I just think that in that central midfield role, I think he can do a job. So I would have him as a starter. If you're not going to look, I'd rather have him over Allen at the moment. So yeah, I would go with Latty personally. Latty, Rudoni, and Torp. That's what I'd go for. Wilson or Dovin? I think you've got to go Dovin. Wilson did have a good game. I was impressed with. He kept us in it against Bristol City the first half. Made a good save in the second half. But Dovin's coming to be the number one, so I would go Dovin. I know I keep pronouncing his name wrong. I can never pronounce it right. I'm rubbish at doing that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll go Dovin over Wilson. Brandon Thomas is Asante or Wright. I would go Asante over Wright, just because I've said it before. I think Wright for me doesn't work hard enough, and he doesn't help the left fullback out enough for me. Asante worked hard against Bristol City, so I think he might deserve a chance, to be fair. Wright was a little bit non-existent, and again, he's got to work harder. I would probably have Wright and Sims battling out for the number 9 rather than Asante and Sims. So yeah. Matty James as a possible midfield signing on a free. Did Walitkov last time, and an experienced leader. You know what? When did I look at that? I think it was yesterday I saw that he was available, and I'd have Matty James back definitely. He'll do a job. He probably wouldn't. He might not expect to start every week, but he can fill in, and he can, if we needed to. He can always come on and add that little bit of steel in there as well. So yeah, I would go for that definitely. Or Leon Walsh on a free, as he can do the sheath role. Looks like Luton might be after him. Yeah, Leon Walsh. The only issue that I've got with Leon is his injury concerns. You can't bring Liam in to replace Ben, and then they're both out. That would be my only concern, where I think Matty James is a little bit more robust, and he wouldn't. I think he'd be available for all the games rather than missing the odd one with injury and stuff like we do with Ben Sheaf already. Stephen, Allen can't play the midfield holding role better, played further forward. Yeah, totally agree, Stephen. I agree with that. I find it quite odd, really, that he has been put in that position. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I hope he's not there against Oxford. That's all I can say. Under Average Cov fan, thank you very much on YouTube. How did Tavares do for you on Tuesday? Yeah, probably not one of his poorer games, but not one of his best either. I thought he got a little bit lost. Not within himself, but I just thought he got lost on the field a little bit. He had a few good touches, but he's, again, like Allen a little bit, really. And Sims to a certain extent. They've got to make themselves a little bit stronger on the ball. They get knocked off the ball a little bit too easily for me. And to go to the next level, to push on, we need like Thomas Asante, that, they're big, strong lads. Rudoni. He looks just another level above. He looks absolutely brilliant. Thoughts, Sky Blue Sound, thoughts on cup draw? A little bit frustrating that we've got Bristol, Oxford. But it's one of them. You can't, when it's picked out of a draw, you can't do anything about it, I suppose. So, yeah. It's one of them. It was a little bit like Sheffield Wednesday when we got Sheffield Wednesday again last season. It's one of them, really. Can't do much about it. Ben Watkin, any more interviews lined up? Not at the moment. Hopefully, I've got one that's going to happen next year. I know that for definite. I'm not going to say who it is, but I've got one for next year, but nothing imminent on player interviews. But we have got the Mickey Quinn interview out that's still out there for people to watch. We've got John Williams and we've got Frank Musa. So yeah, and obviously the Oxford preview is out now as well, so you can go and watch that on YouTube or listen to that on your podcasts. Tynan Burke, hi Tynan on Facebook, thank you very much. Do you think Bobby Thomas has been getting for poor passes is justified, or do you feel our midfield aren't finding enough space when we're playing out from the back? I think it's a little bit of both. I think the midfielders need to try and find the space a little bit more, but he has got to do better because he has given the ball away far too much, and it's frustrating. It's a little bit like Casey, I suppose, when he tries to thread that ball through. And it doesn't quite get through. That's what, Thomas and Kitchen. Kitchen, by the way, had a good game against Bristol City. I still think Binks is going to start, and he is a starter for me. But Kitchen had a good game. I didn't feel like he was rash at all. I thought he was good. I thought he was okay. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he needs to get better with his passing, but the midfield do need to try and find a little bit more space. And that's where I think Allen, he's better further forward because I think he does find that little bit of space. When there's that holding midfielder, he's probably got a couple of players around him where he can't find that space. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, Bobby's got to start passing better because he is giving the ball away a little bit too much, which is then putting us on the back foot, and it's always difficult, especially like a team against an Oxford that's going to hassle you and press you. We've got to make sure that we're spot on with that. Sky Blue Sam, which Oxford players worry you? You know what? Mark Harris, he worries me because at the moment he's scored a couple of goals. They've scored 4 goals in 2 games and they haven't conceded. So, they're a whole team. The young lad, Cameron, I think it is as well, that plays up there, a bit of a midfielder. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Under average Kaufman, would you start Rodoni a bit deeper and maybe Palmer in a 10? Good question. I just think that you'd miss Rodoni's creativity if you put him back, if he had to defend a little bit too much. Because Palmer for me is probably more of an impact sub this year, just because if you need a little bit of a sparkle, or somebody to hold on to the ball a little bit, I suppose. Maybe the last 10 minutes is difficult to get it off because he's big, strong, powerful. But yeah, I think we'd miss Rodoni's creativity in that midfield. So I'm not sure whether I would. I'd rather start Eccles there or Latty, like I said. At a push, Rodoni maybe, but yeah, there's Latty and Eccles that are the first 2 for me. Glenn again needs to keep it simple and either do it quick passes or 1-2s. Yeah, look, I think sometimes I know Robbins doesn't like. I'm not saying the long ball, but I'm just saying maybe bypass the midfield a little bit. It looks like Sims's first touch has got a lot better, so I'd knock it past midfield, get them turning. And hopefully Sims can have a good first touch. And that brings the likes of Palmer, Rodoni, Mason Clark, Sakamoto all into play if he can do that. So we'll have to wait and see. Excuse me. Robbie Watson, thank you very much on Facebook. We need to build up play to be quicker from the back to front. It's too laboured at the minute. We have plenty of pace. We need to use it. Definitely, totally agree. It is a little bit slower. And I think when Allen's on it, and Torp a little bit, they tend to slow the play down. We have got to make that intensity a little bit quicker. Oxford aren't going to be any mugs. Grant Hine on Facebook, thank you very much. He says, I'm not accepting the 6-1, but I do expect at least 2-0. I've gone 2-0 on my predictions, Grant. I think it's going to be a different side to when we beat them in the Cup. They've made some really smart moves in the transfer window. So, yeah, I don't expect a 6-1. I don't want us to concede first. We do need to start scoring and start keeping clean sheets. That's what we've got to do. Because we will score goals. It's about making sure that we can start keeping clean sheets. We've only conceded 1 goal, in 2 games, which isn't bad. But we've got to make sure that we're still keeping clean sheets now. Glenn also said, might be wrong, but think Sims scores more goals when Casey on the pitch. I suppose that's one to have a look at the stats for, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see. The honest answer is I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats, but it'd be interesting if Sims does score more with Casey on, because then maybe you do start Casey and maybe push Rudoni back like you mentioned. But we'll have to wait and have a look at that one. Stephen McGovern again, thank you, Steve. We will struggle if teams park the bus and having to mainly rely on Rudoni. Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent. I just think this year, Oxford aren't going to sit back. I think a lot of teams nowadays don't sit back. There are more passing styles of play. But whoever goes 1-0 up, if we go 1-0 up again at home, I want us to go for the jugular. I don't want us to sit back. And if that means that we win 5-4, then we win 5-4. But we've got to go for it. We've got to go for the jugular. Can't sit back at home. We need to make sure that we're, But if they go 1-0 up, then they might sit back, and then, it's going to be all us then, isn't it? So hopefully we'll get it over the line. Chris, I can't pronounce your surname, sorry. Tees. Chris, thank you very much on Facebook. Should start with Palmer and Asante. Yeah, Asante, I agree with. I'm not sure about Palmer. It depends who's in that midfield 3, I think. Unless you're going to start Asante on the right, maybe, but then you're going to start Sakamoto. But yeah, look, up front, for midfield, for the attacking midfield options and up front wise, we're okay. It's the defensive side of things and the defensive cover and the defensive midfielders that we need to sort out, really, until Sheaf's back. Under average Cov fan, which player has impressed you the most so far in the games you've seen? Well, obviously, I've been to Stoke and I went to Bristol City. And for me, Rudoni is the one that stood out. Against Stoke, nobody played particularly well, but, he put himself about a little bit and he was all right. But against against Bristol City, second half especially when he come on, changed the game much better. I can see us being okay. Chris again, need to score first and not sit back but take control of the game. Yeah, totally agree. I'm hoping that we've got a little bit of a psychological advantage because of the cup game that we had, that they're going to be thinking about that and it's not going to G them up too much. So yeah, I'm hoping that we need to start scoring first, and then we can start seeing games out and not conceding straight after we score. Taking our time a little bit. That's when we can relax a little bit and pass it around. When we've scored, get control of the ball, get control of the game, and then we go again. I don't want us to see us, scoring first and then, making silly back passes and stuff like that because, we're worried about conceding. We need to make sure that we've got control of the game. Sky Blue Sam, Binks or Kitchen? Binks for me, I think is the better out the two. But like I said, Kitchen had a good game against Bristol City. I didn't feel like I said, I thought he was controlled. He looked like he knew where Bobby was and what he was doing. Yeah, I was quite impressed with him. Oh, okay. It's Chris, say silent T. Okay. Chris T. Is that right? Sorry again if I pronounce that wrong. Chris T says, hi, Dave Marriott. Ben Watkin has said on YouTube has said, is the anecdote open tomorrow? I believe so. I can't see it. Why. I know it was closed a couple of Fridays ago, but I think there was something going on. But I believe it's open. I'm going to the anecdote anyway. I haven't been told that it's not open. So yeah. Adam Kopp, thank you very much. Our players are so talented, and that will show in the next couple of months. But I think we just need an end product. Okay, Adam, do you not think Sims or Haji Wright is the end product? Do you think that we need somebody else? Is Asante okay? Oh, Matt Lovett has just said the anecdote posted today. It's open tomorrow. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Matt, on Facebook. Graham Handley, thank you very much. I think that's meant to be Binks in Kitchen for me. Drop Thomas. His passing is woeful. Wow. Okay. It is woeful. Well, it has been poor the past 2 games. I just don't think, and I know some people don't care about balance and things like that, but I think Mark Robins will. I think he will care about the balance. And we haven't got another, unless he goes Latty at centre back instead of Thomas and plays Latty and Binks. I suppose that's an option if he does rest. Thomas, but Thomas came off at Bristol City, and Milan came on, and Latty went into central defence. So I think that indicates that Thomas is going to start because he rested him for the last 20 minutes or so. So I think Thomas starts because he is a good defender. He is a good defender, but he has got to sort his passing out. I totally agree. Adam Kopp has said, Binks and Thomas, in my opinion, can't slate Thomas after some bad passes. No, I'm not. Look, I don't think we're slating him. It's just because we know he can do better because he did better last year. And he started off, trying to squeeze the ball through rather than making sure that it's, that it's getting through really. So, yeah, it's... me personally, I would go Binks and Thomas because we've got balance. We've got left-sided centre back, right-sided centre back, and that's why I don't see Mark Robins changing what he's going to do, just because of that balance, really, more than anything. So yeah, that's on that. Hardeep Shoka, thank you very much, Hardeep, on Facebook. Struck shot was all wrong Saturday. Very poor performance. Allen out of its depth. Now. Saturday against Stoke. Yeah, I agree. It was a poor performance all round, really. I wouldn't necessarily Allen's out of his depth. I just think he's playing in the wrong position. I don't want to see him in that holding midfield role. It's got to be somebody it's got to be Eccles or Latty for me, like I've already mentioned previously. One of them two should be the holding midfielder until Ben's back. Haven't heard if he's back. Haven't heard anything if he's back yet. I've seen no pictures or anything, so I'm presuming that he's not going to be back and ready for Oxford. Somebody might have heard something that Robins has said in the press conference. If you can let me know, that would be great. Stevens also said Wilson looks a lot better now, more like he was pre-slump. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, he had a good game. He had a good game against Bristol. Kept us in it the first half, and he did all right. Those are talking on Facebook to me and sending in questions and stuff. Thank you very much. If you can give the page a like as well, that will help to spread the word a little bit. Just give that thumbs up a tap, and we've been much appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe to our channel. And if you're liking on Instagram, again, just give us a thumbs up and give us a like and give us a share if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Glenn has said Palmer been on the pitch in 8 of the last games that Sims has scored in 10 games and total 13. Wow. That's a good stat. Thank you very much for the likes, guys. That's a really good stat. Love it. Then, if that's the case, then maybe play Palmer and put Rudoni a slightly deeper role. Maybe take Torp off and bring in Alan. Not Alan. Eccles. Sorry. Thank you. So, yeah, good stat. I like that, Glenn. Thank you very much. Graham again. Do we know how far away Sheaf is? We really do miss him more than I thought we would do. Yeah, I don't know how far away he is. I'm hoping that he's literally just around the corner. I'm hoping that he might be on the bench for Oxford. But again, if somebody knows anything or heard anything, let me know and I can share it amongst the people that are listening and watching live. Hardeep, with all the players available again, he shouldn't have started. You're talking about Alan. Alan should be a bit part player. Yeah, I do agree with you. He should be further forward as well when he comes on. He shouldn't be in that holding midfield role. He's too small and too lightweight, really. We need somebody with a bit more physical presence, like a Latti for me would be perfect. I'm not sure why he's not playing Latti in that role. He plays it for Jamaica. I think he'd do. I think he'd do all right in that role personally. Adam Kopp, thank you very much again. I think Adam's time is up now. I would personally sell him now or in January, depends on how he does. I don't think we're going to sell him because I think he's a good person to have around. But I think I agree. I think his time's up, and I think he'll go. I think he'll go at the end of the season. And we'll shake hands and it'll be gone. I'm not sure what he's got left on his contract, actually. But yeah, I think it is, Godden's gone, Kelly's gone, the old guard have now gone. It's, the new people are coming in and slightly younger, more physical presence and things like that as well. Excuse me. Lee Leishman, thank you very much. Lee on YouTube. I'd like to see Cov play attacking football for 90 minutes. This season has started the same as the last few. We're only turning up for 45 minutes. Robin needs to get tactics right from the start. Totally agree. I think we do. We start seasons slow, and we also start games slow, and that's a frustrating part for me. I don't know why. The past few years, it's been a recurring theme with Robins, really, that for the first half, we get in 0-0. If we can be 1-0 up, that's fine. And then the second half, we come out and we really make it a go. I want us to see us, exactly like you've said, start from first whistle, I should say. But yeah, I totally agree. Hardy, formation should be 3-5-2, as I think it does team best. No, I disagree with that one. I don't want to see him playing three at the back. I don't think we can play three at the back. I think, me personally, I still want to see four at the back. 4-3-3. I actually thought against Bristol that for a second that we went to a 4-4-2. Because we still had Sakamoto on the right-hand side. Asante went over to the left-hand side, and then Hadji and Sims, not Hadji and Sims. Was it? No, it wasn't Hadji and Sims. Just trying to think. 4-4-2 was awful. Well, look, again, it's about having that plan B, isn't it? I think we can go from a 4-4-2. Like I said, it was only for a second I thought it was, but then it kind of changed slightly and went to that 4-1-3-2-1 or whatever it is. Wilson or Dovin in goal tomorrow. Dovin for me is in goal. Wilson did well, don't get me wrong, but I think Dovin goes in goal. Would three at the back work better with no Sheaf? No, I don't think it does. I don't want to see three at the back. It doesn't work for us anymore. We just need to carry on playing four at the back. I think that if we went to three at the back again, we would get absolutely stuffed. Four at the back suits the way that we play, suits our attacking players. and the way that they play as well. And I think you're seeing the best out of Bidwell and Milan playing 4 at the back as well, personally. Hardy ultimately comes down to selection. Yeah, it does. But I think like I said, with the players that we've got, I think 4-2-3-1 for me. Yeah, I agree with that, Adam. That's the formation that I would probably go with as well. And I think you can change it maybe into a 4-4-2. It wouldn't necessarily be a conventional 4-4-2, but you can have 4-2-2-2 if you like, yeah, something like that. Ben Watkin, his recent form KP though is decent, and looking at stats, seems to do better when he plays as his balls for Sims to run onto. Glenn's just mentioned that as well, Ben. I think that's your dad. But yeah, I totally agree. Just looking at them stats, it looks like you're right. Yeah, Robbie Watson, what's your starting 11 tomorrow? I would probably go. This is me personally. It's probably not going to be that. I'm going to go for Dovin, Milan, Thomas, Binks, probably Bidwell just because I think Bidwell deserves another chance. But I thought De Silva did okay, and he got better as the game went on against Bristol. But I would start Bidwell. And then I would have Latti, Torp, and Rudoni. If you're not going to play Latti, I would play Eccles, and then I would play Sakamoto on the right. Probably Thomas Asante just on the left, and Sims up top. That's my starting 11. Glenn, who's your favourite out of Clive, Oggy, and Rob? Well, that's a little bit naughty. I can't have favourites out of them 3. Yeah, I can't have favourites out of them 3. I've met Rob more often when I've been on CWR, but Clive and Oggy are legends, aren't they? And Rob's a great guy as well. So I'm not going to pick my favourites out of them. I love them all. Sky Blue Sam, how did Torp do on Tuesday? He did okay. Again, one of them players that got better as the game went on into the second half. He did come off, and then the game changed a little bit. Glenn, just call me Mark Smith. I beat you to it. I'm not going to put that one up because people could get confused about what we're talking about there, Glenn. But yeah, Torp did okay. He did, like I said, he did better as he was coming on, as the game went on. But yeah, I like Torp a lot. I think it's just, again, taking him a little bit of time to adjust to how we play. As long as he doesn't get injured, Torp, Rudoni, and Sheaf are going to be the midfield 3. And they're going to be a quality midfield 3 as well, once they're all up to speed and they're all doing what they need to do. Adam, I'm going to put this one up on the screen. I'll show that one. So Adam Kopp on Facebook has said, Dovin, Milan van Eyck, Thomas, Binks, Bidwell, Eccles, Torp, Sakamoto, Rudoni, Wright, Sims. Yeah, pretty much the same as me. Apart from I had Latti instead of Eccles, but if you're not going to play Latti, then yes, Eccles definitely. I had Asante instead of Wright. Wright doesn't work hard enough. Me personally, I would swap around. I would swap around who's fighting for what position. I would have Wright and Sims fighting it out for the number 9, and I would have Asante and Mason Clark fighting out for that left-hand berth. I think that would be better because, like I said, for me, he doesn't work hard enough. Had you right. Excuse me. Glenn has said, argument that Jay De Silva starts ahead of Bidwell. I can see that. It's a close call because It wasn't just Bidwell, but he could have done better for the goal at Stoke. And De Silva had a good game, and he's got a clean sheet behind him. So there is that argument that Jay De Silva starts ahead of Bidwell, but it depends on who's in front of him. If you've got Haji Wright in front of Jay De Silva, I think that's wrong. I think if you're starting Haji, you start Bidwell, but if you start Jay De Silva, then you start Asante, and I think that will work better, or Mason Clark. Neil Park on Facebook, thank you very much. I know it's off topic, but do you expect any more signings? Not off topic, mate. We're a Coventry City forum. You can say anything that you want to about Coventry City. Ask questions. I can do shout outs. But I do expect more. I don't know if any more are going to come in, but I do expect more, at least 2. Central midfield and a centre half. That's what I would like to happen. Whether it happens or not, Neil, I don't know. Glenn said at Neil, keep hearing players are in the pipeline. Yeah, we've heard that all pre-season. So, again, there's only, 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks until the end of the transfer window. There's still a lot of work to do, so we'll have to wait and see. I agree that would work also. Yeah, thank you. Neil Park says, thanks, you're welcome. Glenn says, what's your favourite Cov suburb? I'm not going to say where I live because I'm quite close to places where I don't particularly like. I'm not going to say where I used to live because, again, that's not the greatest. Ilsden's all right. I don't mind Ilsden. Ilsden's okay. Ilsden or Charlesmore. I don't live in either of them, but Ilsden or Charlesmore. Dalraj, thank you very much on Facebook. I hate to say this, but Oxford have the right to be confident tomorrow. Of course they do. They've won 2 games out of 2 games. Scored 4 goals, conceded 0. We've only conceded 1 goal in 2 games though, which isn't that bad. But the trouble is we've only scored 1 as well. So, it's not like we got absolutely done over by Stoke. We didn't lose 4-5. It was 1-0 and it was an ugly 1-0 that they beat us on. But yes, we have to do better. Oxford have the right to be confident. I'm hoping that in the back of their minds that they're going to have the cup in their minds when we've done them over 6-2, and hopefully that affects them a little bit and it gives us a bit of a boost. We know that we can beat them. It is a different side, I get that. But again, how did Mason Clark do on Saturday? I'm presuming you mean against Stoke. He did okay. He did okay. Again, he works hard, which is what I like to see. If they're not playing well, as long as they're working hard, then you can kind of forgive them a little bit if things don't go their way. Nobody's probably going to have worse days than they did against Stoke this season. I hope not anyway. I thought he did okay. But like I said, nobody come out with any praises really, I suppose. In Over the Clubs video, yeah, I saw that video. Did everybody else see that video today of the clubs with the suburbs on? Neil Park, thank you again. The midfield seems a bit weak without Sheaf. It does. That's why everyone's crying out for another central midfield. But I've already mentioned Latty. I think Latty would be the perfect replacement for him. I think we've got a ready-made one there in Latty. That's me personally. People don't like him there. Some people don't like him at all. But I quite like him. He's like a Bidwell, really. He's a 6-7, constant 8 out of 10 whenever they play. And he just adds that little bit of bite in midfield that we like as well. Under average Cov fan, is there an event at the Tavern next Tuesday with the players? There isn't. No, I have asked that question today, and there isn't one. There's just the two players at I think it's the Camden Supporters Club, Christ the King, I think. But no, there's no one here next Tuesday for the players. It's only there. Dalraj thumbs up. Dalraj also. So the defense. So is the defense and the attack? I'm not sure on that question, Dalraj. Might have to explain that one a little bit more than me, please. Adam Kopp. Good question. I'll put that one up, Adam, as well. Favourite ever Cov match excluding any Wembley games? A couple of years ago, Fulham, when we beat Fulham 4-1, I thought that was a very good game. That's up there. Leeds last season, I didn't go to that game, but I did watch it. It was the only game that I missed, to be fair, of the season, but I did watch it. Sheffield United, Leicester. Can I include, Adam, playoffs? As in playoff semi-finals, because Middlesbrough was a great game as well when we beat them 1-0 at their place. I was there for that one. If I can, then I'll include that one. Tony McConville, thank you very much on Facebook. A bit weaker is saying. If that's what you're saying, Dalraj, then the defence is slightly weak in the attack because we've made some really good signings. He's also said we're not scoring enough. No, we're not. But again, we've only played 2 games. Neil Park, Man U 3-2 to Cov. Yes, that was a good. Yeah, that was a good one. Lee Leishman on YouTube, thank you. Agreed on Latty. I'd like to see him in for Sheaf. We'd need to mix it up a bit. Too safe. Yeah, like I said, I people that listen to me on here and listen to me on the X Spaces will know how much I like Latty. And I think he'd do a great job for us in that central midfield role. Like I said, I think he does it for Jamaica. He's played there for Jamaica. He's played there for us last season, I think. So he can do it. And while we're waiting on Sheaf, I think we've got the perfect replacement. But we'll have to wait and see. Adam Cott, mine personally was Cov versus Notts County 4-1. Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one. Glenn's also said 4-1 away at Notts County, 5-1 at Liverpool at Highfield Road, and 2-1 win Stoke in FA Cup. Yeah, all good ones. Like them. Keep them coming. Excuse me. Did you see the Sims and Latty flags in the away end on Tuesday? No, I missed them. Stephen McGovern, how many more goals will Wright get if he manages to stay on side? Well, look, he got 19 last year. I expect him to get roughly the same this year. I hope. Sam Power on Facebook, thank you very much. View on Allen in the past couple of games. Well, he only, against Stoke, obviously he played majority of the game, if not all the game. And, yeah, a little bit weak, gave the ball away, easily pushed off the ball. But, no, like you said, nobody played well against Stoke anyway for me, really. And he came on at Bristol City. He didn't start the game. And he did all right. He come on when it was 0-0 and, he was on when we won 1-0. So he must have done okay, but I still don't want to see him in that central holding midfield role, Still don't want to see him there. Tony McConville, I think we need Wright and Sims on at the same time. When we have one or the other, we miss out. Teams must love it when we play one or the other. I think it will be different now because we've got Sakamoto back. We've got Mason Clark. We've got Asante. We've got Rudoni. We've got other players. We've got Torp. We've got other players now that can produce. We've got Palmer that can produce that little bit of magic. But like I said, Hadji doesn't work hard enough. That's why I think, Hadji and Sims fight it out for that number 9 slot. Mason Clark and Asante fight it out for that left-hand berth because they work harder. Me personally, I wouldn't start Hadji on Friday tomorrow. I would start Asante or Mason Clark and Sims up top and Sakamoto on the right. Again, we don't know when that Rodriguez is coming in either, so Rodriguez has got to come in at some point as well. He can play wide right and number 10, I think, as well. So that will be interesting when he comes into the play as well. Tony said, some message done that one, sorry. Neil said, last game of the season when we beat Everton 4-1 to stay up. Yeah, good game, like it. If you can keep pressing that like button, it'd be much appreciated, guys. Please. And if you're watching on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. Or if you're just listening, please go and rate us 5 stars on podcasts and things like that if you're listening to them on there. That's great. Thank you very much. Any other questions or queries? My FPL team. So, at them, it's called, my team name is Sky Blue Stew. And it's Henderson, Trent, Henderson in goal, Trent, that Baka, but he might be coming out. Trent, Baka, Pedro Porro. Midfield 4. Midfield 4 is hi Hector, how are you? Hector says hello all. Midfield 4 is Gordon, Jota, Rogers, I think. I can't remember. Up front anyway is Haaland, Solanke, and Isak. Neil says, I can't understand why Hadji don't score more with his head. Well, I don't think we put enough crosses over anyway for Hadji and Sims. And to be fair, against Bristol City when he played, it was the first time that I've seen him use his head to flick a ball on. So we know that he can use it now, but I don't know. Maybe he's just not very good with his head. He prefers it down to his feet. But no, I'm not sure why he doesn't score more with his head. Maybe don't cross it. But he's normally the one doing the crossing because he plays on the left. If if he was up front in Sims's position, maybe he would if the balls come over, But when he's normally doing the crossing because he's out on that left-hand side, he doesn't get the opportunity to do it. But maybe, like I said, that's why I think Hadji and Sims should fight out for that number 9 slot. I don't understand why we're not scoring enough. I don't either. We've got to create more chances, but we've got to score. We've got to start shooting from outside the box and not try and walk it in. We've got to make sure that we're shooting outside the box because you never know. Deflections, it falls to the feet of Sims or whoever. We just need to try. When in played abroad, he scored a hatful with his head. Oh, when he played abroad, he scored a hatful with his head. Okay, interesting. Like I said, I would like to see Hadji and maybe play Hadji up as that number 9, and play Thomas Asante to the left. That's what I would like to see anyway. And maybe you might see more then of Hadji Wright scoring more with his head. You never know. Excuse me. Because I would imagine, Neil, that when he did play abroad, he was playing as the number 9 and he wasn't on the left-hand side. Maybe they played with a 2. I don't know what formations they played. If you know that, let me know. Oh, Saka's in my midfield as well for Arsenal. That's another midfielder in my FPL team. Side note. Any other questions or shout-outs? Nearly up. Started off slow again, but everyone's starting to come back in again. That's brilliant. Thank you ever so much for anyone that has come on. Dalraj, what's the difference between the squad last season to this season? Is the squad better than last season? And is the defence worse than last season? Well, the defence is the same as last season, to be fair. The defence is exactly the same. Goalkeeper's got a little bit better, maybe. But we've added quality, at the top end. We've just got to add a few more bodies in and we'll be all right. Evening, Mark. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. It was good to join you on CWR this evening. Webby Sports Roundup. Number 1 Sky Blue Army fan in the Tenerife. Webby Sports Roundup. Boom! Or bomb. Mark Smith, prediction for tomorrow. I'm going to go for a 2-0 tomorrow. I said it on our X Space. Hector on YouTube, any transfer rumours? Not at the moment that I'm aware of. I think there's one floating around about the Villa midfielder. That's the only one that I've seen really floating around. People are talking about Matt James coming back, but I don't think there's anything in that. Hector's also said we need at least 2 players, central midfield and a centre-back. Totally agree. Neil said, looking at other teams like your Sheffield, we're a bit behind. Yeah, but again, if you look at what Sheffield's bought, I know they've just signed Mark Cooper, but they're doing a little bit of a Nottingham Forest, what they did in the Premier League when they first went up. They've come down. They've let a few people go, but they're buying absolutely everybody, or they're getting everybody on free transfers and loans, and their squad must be absolutely massive. I'm sure of it. So you've got to fit all these players in. I don't necessarily agree with doing that. I like the way that we're doing it and progressing slowly. Look, I've picked us to finish second because you can't guarantee me a playoff win. But I don't think we're behind. I think we've got a good, strong squad from last season, and I think we've added to that. We just need to start playing better. We need to play the football that we know that we can play. Because when everybody's on it, we're going to turn people over and turn people over heavy, I think. But we've got to be on it, because if you're not, no games are given. We need to make sure that we're focused in the right way and get our heads screwed on. Because if we do, we'll win more games than we lose. Dalraj, the fans are screaming out for another midfielder and experienced defender, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Yeah, look, it's easy to say this as fans, isn't it? And I'm culpable of doing this as well. And things aren't going as quickly as you like, but I'm sure that behind the scenes, people are working hard to get things done. It just takes time, especially if we're going for a Premier League loan signing. It just takes time. Sam on Facebook, funny that every time there's a transfer rumour, Sheffield United are always also interested. Yeah, exactly. Sheffield United have been interested in absolutely everybody this year, and they've signed pretty much absolutely everybody. So look, I don't think they'll be the same team. I don't think they'll make the top 6. I might be wrong, but they've got to make all these people happy that they're bringing in, and they just seem to be bringing everybody in. Hector, we are defo close to top 2, but need 2 decent players. Yeah, I agree. But look, when Sheaf's back, if we've got like I said, I think we've got a Mediraid replacement for Sheaf when he's out, and that's Latti. I don't know why we're not losing Latti more in that midfield role. but that's just me. Lee Leishman on YouTube, thank you very much. Will this be the season we do the double over Preston and Swansea? Oh, God. Good question. Preston, I'm not bothered about doing the double as long as we win one of them. And the same for Swansea, really. But Swansea are a good passing side. They can play some really lovely football, or they could. I'm not necessarily worried about Swansea or Preston, to be fair. I think we can do both of them. And we need to make sure that we do. Especially Preston, because against Preston, it's absolutely horrid. Horrid history against Preston. So we've got to start doing something. Sheffield United stole most of the transfer Burrows and Forest on Stamets. Yeah, like I said, they're signing absolutely everybody. Hector, can you imagine Sheffield United's wage bill? We couldn't pay for that. Yeah, exactly. You forgot about Norwich. I'm not worried about Norwich either. They've got probably one player really in Sargent. They lost to Oxford 2-0, so they can leak goals. So I don't really think we need to worry. Middlesbrough, Sunderland. Do you think Middlesbrough or Sunderland will ever beat us? We're beatable, definitely. We've seen it already. Middlesbrough are looking good. I like Michael Carrick. Sunderland, again, there's a bit of time in the window. Are they going to lose Jack Clark? Are they going to lose a couple of others before that window shuts? Don't know. I think it'll be really, for them anyway, it'll be really good if they can keep Jack Clark. I'll be surprised, but we'll have to wait and see. But Middlesbrough look good. Lath is just, he's a good striker. But his goals, to be fair, have only come from the penalty spot. He hasn't scored one in open play, I don't think. Sam Power, thoughts on tomorrow night? Yeah, hard game. Like I've said already, I would like them to be thinking about the cup when we beat them, and that that plays on their mind a little bit, and they make a few mistakes, and we capitalise on them mistakes. So hopefully. And they concede 3 goals against Stevenage. Dalraj, who did, Norwich. Hector, weekly this year, I can see 7 clubs within 10 points. I can see 7 clubs within, say, 10 points come the end. Yeah, I think it is going to be a close, and that's why I think it's a good season for us to try and push on. But again, no games are given. You need to make sure that you're playing to your full potential and your full ability, because otherwise you will get turned over like we found out against Stoke. Robbie Watson on Facebook, thank you very much. We are definitely moving in the right direction. Competition for places in the key. Everywhere player looking over his shoulder is what we need. Starting with a positive performance tomorrow night. Momentum is everything. Yeah, and we won against Bristol City. Yeah, Norwich conceded 3 goals against Stevenage. Oh, okay, cool. So they are leaking goals, so we can score against them. I don't think we've got anybody to fear this year if we play to our ability, and we haven't played. We get in there against Bristol, but there's still a long way to go, and we can get better. And that's why I think against Oxford, home crowd as well, it's going to be a full CBS. I can see us doing really, really well. But like I said, it's not going to be an easy game, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Cov. I'm not going to name goal scorers because I ain't got a clue who's going to score. I'm not bothered who scores as long as we win. It's about winning. I don't care who scores. Let's keep a clean sheet as well in the league, because it's been a while since we've kept a clean sheet in the league as well. So I've just been an hour. Thank you very much for everyone that's joined in on the action on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. Hector's gone 3-1 to Cov, play up Sky Blues. Again, thank you everybody that's joined and commented. Robbie, Dalraj, Hector, Sam, Lee, Neil, Mark, Webby, Who else? Let's go back. Glenn, Tony, Sam, Steve, Glenn, Adam, Ben, Lee, Tony, Adam, Under Average Cov fan, Sky Blue Sam, and Stephen as well on YouTube. A couple of Stevens, Robbie, Hardeep. So thank you everybody, Graham. Thank you everybody that's come on. I've got another new comment before I go. Hector, sorry I'm late. Don't worry, pal. I do this every other week. So nothing next week, but I'll be on the week after. Stephen McGovern's gone 3-0 to Cov. I'll take that. But look out for, like I said, if you watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe if you don't already. If you listen to us on podcast, go and rate us 5 stars. Remember where you can find us. It is scrolling down the bottom. We are on Twitter or X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. And we're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar and the Sky Blue Tavern. So once again, thank you everybody for joining me. Much appreciated. Play up Sky Blues. Hope to see you there tomorrow. Speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.